Good morning and welcome to Nora's Dog Training Company. We're here today with Artemis and Fred, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today on video is your little girl's ability to understand and respond to her formal on-leash obedience commands, the correction and the motivation that we give the puppies when we're working with them, and the training equipment that we're using. Fred is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and he keeps the bulk of the leash folded in his right hand. That leaves the left hand free to give any correction that's needed, and the only correction that we give is a little tug and release on the training collar. And you're going to be introduced to that equipment tomorrow when you come to get them and taught how to use it properly. Now, she's sitting very nicely at Fred's left, which is where all of our obedience training is done. And the first exercise that we're going to demonstrate for you is heeling. Heeling is proper walking on a leash, not dragging you down the street, and the command is Artemis heel. Now at this point she has a job to do, and that is to stay even with Fred's leg when they're walking, keeping in mind that she is a giant breed and she's going to get bigger and stronger, so heeling's very important. A nice automatic sit when you stop, so that when you stop to cross the street or talk to someone on the street, you don't have your Great Dane jumping all over them. Rather, she's sitting nicely waiting for her next command. And the next command that we're going to demonstrate is the sit-stay. The stay is a hand and a voice command, and it is a stationary exercise, so you do not need to use her name. The long sit-stay when you're practicing at home is for about 30 seconds, and little bit by little bit you're going to work up to 3 minutes. You can practice indoors as well as outdoors, and when Fred returns back to her, he walks all the way around her, returning all the way back around where they started. And then she expects to get another command, so everything starts and stops at that heel position. Great Danes are always a little bit slower on their sits. They're growing so rapidly that they're uncoordinated. And she does her commands, but she's not thrilled about it. You're going to see a totally different set of the same commands with your other puppy. Fred leaves her in another sit-stay. He turns to face her, and use your videos at home to practice. This time, instead of returning back to her, Fred is going to demonstrate the come on command, and her job is to come and sit. So we want to discourage any coming and jumping on you, because that is one of the things that you can't have your guest greeted at the door with a Great Dane puppy paws on their shoulders. So coming and being praised for coming is always done when she comes and sits. And they're going to demonstrate that recall exercise again for us. Fred leaves her in a sit-stay. He walks out to the end of his leash. He uses her name. He lightens his tone of voice. He talks to her on the way in to make her happy to come, and then she sits very nicely, and he tells her to heel, and she goes right back to heel position. So your stationary exercises, your sit stays and your down stays. Put your training equipment on your dogs and practice right in your house. You don't have to be outside. If it's a nasty February, you're going to want to continue to practice indoors. Now the next exercise that we're going to demonstrate for you is the down from a heel position. So with the puppy seated at your left, you take your left open palm, push it straight down toward the ground, and give the one-word command to down and stay. The long down stay, when you're practicing at home, you can get them to hold it a little bit longer. Start out at about 45 seconds. You're going to work up about 10 seconds a day to 5 minutes. When Fred returns back to her, again, like he did on the sit-stay, an additional distraction is to walk all the way around, and you end up back at where you started at heel position. Fred says that Apollo has enough enthusiasm for both of them. So we're going to demonstrate that down from a heel position again. So always have her seated first. Then you tell her to down. She only has to lower the top half of her body. And that is a perfect long down stay for a young puppy like her. And this time Fred will call her out of that. Tucks her in, has her sit, and then he takes her back to heel position. So again, everything starts and stops at that heel position. And the very last command that we're going to show you with Artemis is your down from a distance. So with her seated at your left, you're going to leave her in a sit stay. You're going to turn to face her. This is the only time that you're going to use your right hand to give the command. And you're going to drop her into a down. She hesitated slightly, but that was pretty good for a little baby dog. Now we have demonstrated for you all of Artemis's formal on-leash obedience commands. Developmentally, this is exactly where she should be at this age, if not advanced. And you're going to go ahead and move forward, continue working with her, and we're always here for you, so please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or you need a lesson at home. And we will be back shortly with Apollo.